Of Rotary, you say, what two words come to mind? Yeah, flexibility and innovation. Those two just go hand in hand. What we're trying to do is to encourage flexibility and innovation, to encourage clubs to look at the things that we take for granted in Rotary, but maybe keeping our members away or driving members away. Meeting time. You know, the Olentangy Club is a morning club, Thursday morning, I think they meet. And they adopted one meeting a month where they meet at a happy hour on Thursday night. And they're finding out something really interesting, that people who don't attend a lot of their meetings are coming to those meetings and they're getting re-engaged in the club. I met a young man, 2 weeks ago I was in Chicago speaking at a Rotary event. I met a young man, they formed a new club in Madison, Wisconsin, geared toward young professionals. And this is the greatest, coolest thing I've heard in Rotary. You know when they meet? They meet Sunday night at 6 o'clock at a brew pub. Rotary and beer, what could be better? I love that. But here's the thing, they have so much fun, it's such a perfect time for them. Their meetings are 2 hours, 6 to 8. I said, you keep them there for that? He goes, oh yeah, they won't even leave after that. Something to think about, but that's where we're going. And then finally, is this thing that we started last year that I just beat Claudia to death on, and Dave and Mike have heard so much about. Let me go before I go there. Attendance versus engagement and participation. That's what Frank's going to be sharing with you in a minute. The concept of what are we? Are we a meeting club or are we a service organization? Now let me explain to you, and Frank's going to give you the same caveat. We are not here to say club meeting attendance is bad and should be discouraged. I love it. I have perfect attendance for 12 or 13 years, but I can tell you my perfect attendance started when I wanted to be there instead of when I felt I had to be there because of the rule book. So part of this is all of this philosophy of, hey, let's make our meeting something that people want to be at instead of saying, you got to be here, hit them on the head with the rule book. Finally is this whole thing that we based our year last year on, members are our customers. What the heck is that all about? Well, in January of 2011, I went to District Governor Boot Camp, and a guy got up, his name was John Smarge. He was the youngest Rotary director. John was unique because among the Rotary directors, he was the only one who was not deceased. And they're an old group. And John got up and he said, he said, we in Rotary, most of us are business people. And we spend a lot of our time figuring out, what do our customers want? How do we give it to them? What about people who aren't our customers? How do we attract them to our business? How do I make them want to do business with me? And then he asked, why do we check this at the door of Rotary? And I really started thinking about that. That's really true. Instead of being in a business where you say, this is what we have, you should be honored to buy it from me or buy my service, we say, what do our customers want? Why don't we do the same with Rotary? And we can do that without sacrificing our mission of service above self, how we serve. But we start to look at, are we serving only the people across the sea or around there? Or do we also serve our members? Do we also have club service, which serves our members, and vocational service and things like that? So I started thinking about this concept. Are our members our customers? I thought the people that we give the polio vaccine are customers. And I got to thinking, my wife does the shopping in our house, grocery shopping, because for some reason she doesn't trust me to come home with anything other than wine or pretzels or something. And doesn't think that's a well-rounded meal. I've been to Dublin AM. I know they drink wine. What's bad about that? But she buys the food, brings it home, and I eat. So who is the customer of Kroger's? My wife is. But who's the beneficiary of the service? I am. So we try to keep these things distinct. Now, we're not advocating an abandonment of service above self. What I'm talking about here, folks, is a means to an end, not the end, not change of our mission. How do we get there? So we adopted this concept and the key focus members are our customers type of program. And there's 4 basic principles. Number 1, members are Rotary Club's customers. We need to provide the activities and the services that the club members want. Now, most clubs, what they do is a function of what previous members wanted. My club adopted a fish fry 40 years ago. I always tell the story, we had a rose sale. That was our primary fundraiser. People hated it. It just started, right? Instead of selling rose, they wrote checks. So when I was president in 01-02, I started a golf outing as a fundraiser to replace the rose sale. Well, they just kept doing the rose sale for like 8 or 9 years, even though nobody wanted it. So people were writing checks. Finally, the president got up 2 years ago and he said, okay, the board met, we're terminating the rose sale. You got a standing ovation. It was great. Somebody was listening, right? Number 2, every member joins and stays in Rotary for a reason, to get or accomplish something. That reason is not because they have an empty spot on Friday morning at 7:30. They want something out of Rotary. We'll talk about that in a minute. Number 3, and this to me is so commonsensical it shouldn't even be said, but members will remain in Rotary if they're getting what they want from it. We call that value. And they leave if they don't. And finally, clubs need to continually self-evaluate and be willing to implement change if they're going to continue to ensure member satisfaction. Change happens. We can either let change beat us up or we can control change. And so we're talking about how do we make changes that keep our club vibrant. By the way, our program was adopted by the RI board in May of 2012 as the official North American membership plan. They said members are Rotary's customers. If we increase member satisfaction, we'll improve retention and attract new members. Number 3, we'll focus on promoting significant benefits, value, that Rotary offers to members. And finally, there's a need to regularly assess member satisfaction and implement changes that are necessary. Okay?